It is our pleasure now to welcome in one of the great leaders of BYU football, Cameron Jensen, former linebacker, the general, in Studio B for the first time. Welcome to the Digs, man.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Rise and shout. What are we, 86 days till college football? I mean, it's right around the corner.
86.
It's getting there, guys. It's getting there. But hey, awesome studio, man. Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, we're excited you're in here for the first time. I think we were in the BYU store last time.
Yeah, BYU store
So
last
now we're in
time.
here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, we have a lot to talk to you about, including you going to the Basecamp at Mount Everest, which in and of itself is a crazy, challenging hike. And, you know, a couple of years from now, you're hoping to summit this thing. When did this become like a goal and a project for you?
Man, I think it started way back when I was young. Growing up in Bountiful, we lived right in the mountains, and I've always grown up just loving going to the mountains, right? And as I grew up, it just kept getting a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. And then I've always wanted to go to Everest, right? I've always thought about climbing it. I've always loved that mountain. I've known the history of it. And I thought, you know what, I want to go to Basecamp and just test it out, just see, you know, talk to the climbers going in. And so I ended up doing that. And we climbed a peak called Imotse, which is close by Everest, right? Everest is 28,000. This was just about 21,000. So I got a taste of it. And it was just a wild experience. To look at Everest and just see the Himalayas is something that you never forget. Just an awesome experience.
When did you do this? And we're seeing some pictures on BYUtv of this. This is incredible.
Yeah, we did this, it was about a month ago. Again, I was gone about a month. You got to acclimatize, right? The base camp's at 17,000 feet, so it takes you about 2 weeks to get there just acclimatizing. You're going up, you're going down, you're staying a couple days in these villages on the way. So it takes quite a bit, hiking 4 hours a day, basically uphill. But yeah, it takes a while to get there.
What's the most challenging part of that whole experience? Is it the physical toll it takes on you? I imagine there's like an emotional, mental toll as well.
Yeah, it is. Climbing's really similar to sports in that it's mental, right? It's the duration. It's cold. I mean, you're up there. It's cold all the time. You're not sleeping in great conditions. You're not showering. You're just out in the wilderness for a month. It's the duration and just mentally being able to endure those conditions. The hiking's the easy part. It's all the intangibles. It's the food you haven't eaten, all that for such a long duration. And then you got the cold around that. But yeah, I love that. I love when you can push yourself physically, mentally like that. I literally loved every step of it. I loved the cold, loved the mountains, loved the sleeping conditions. I loved it, man.
What can you do in Utah over the next couple of years, if anything at all, to prepare yourself to push yourself further and get to the summit of Everest?
Yeah, there's really nothing in Utah. You got to go externally. The highest peak in Utah is 13,000 feet. So
Baby food.
Yeah,
What is that, Kings Peak?
Oh man, well, I think it's Kings Peak. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to go externally. So I'm doing Rainier in July, and then I'm heading. There's 2 volcanoes. A lot of people do in Ecuador, so I'm doing those, and then I'm doing Elbrus in Russia. I got to go back, serve my mission there. So why not go visit and then do Elbrus, and then I want to do Kilimanjaro, and I think that kind of will help prepare for eventually looking at Everest. So I've got some experience I got to go through, but you can't go through here. You got to go externally. Yeah.
Sounds like an uneventful 2 years coming up for you.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I love it. I love it.
I'm like, what am I doing in 2 years? Oh man, nothing. Yeah. We got a video from you that we saw of you crossing on a ladder, you know, a big crevice. Describe to what I've seen like Vertical Limit and Everest. Like, this is intense, man. This is more intense than anything you did at BYU right here, probably.
So I thought this was going to be a warm-up. I had no idea we were doing this type of ladder until about 2 days before we started the summit of the mountain, right? People came down and they're like, yeah, we didn't make it up to the summit. I'm like, wait, what? You're climbers, right? Like, why didn't you make it up? And they're like, they kept talking about the conditions and they referred to this ladder climb. That's 5 ladders. That's longer than anything you found on Everest over the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm a big guy, right? I look at this ladder, I laughed. I'm like, guys, I'm not getting over that. That thing's going to break. It's going to wobble. How am I going to keep my balance? That's 60 feet dropping. I'm not doing this. But I saw a couple people go first and made it over. But man, that was wild. Seeing 5 ladders tied together and go, you have to cross it, and seeing that drop in the glacier. Yeah, you kind of question, am I doing this? Was I sound in my decision making getting to this point?
You've got to do that with spikes on your shoes.
Yeah, you're doing that with crampons on too, so you're going really slow. Yeah.
Metal on metal. I mean, when you're halfway over this thing, what's going through your mind?
That's the scary part when you get right to that one ladder and there's that gap there. I remember that, looking down, going, wow, I hope this thing doesn't give out. But yeah, it's you know, you're slipping a little bit. They kind of slip a little bit on the ladder, but yeah, man, I'm just glad I made it across. And then we summited, but while I'm summiting, the whole time I'm thinking I got to cross that ladder again on the way back
burden
down.
of the return.
Yeah, the burden of the return. But man, we all made it. Luckily, nobody fell, and man, it was awesome. The summit was just a little bit past that. That was about 19,000 feet when we crossed that ladder, and then we just did the final 1,000. So. Man, beautiful. The best thing about that picture is you saw the mountains. We were above the clouds.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful scenery, the Himalayas. Wow.
Yeah, panning around. That's an incredible scene.
The most savage moment ever would have been like, hold on, you need to take out your phone. Selfie in the middle.
There's another guy that came on that ladder and he started to fall on it, right? And luckily took some quick steps and kind of quickly jumped to the side. He has that video as a friend I went with, Dave. So he sent that out, went viral, that video. But man, yeah, that ladder climb was wild.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Cameron Jensen with us on BYU Sports Nation, mountain climber, former BYU football great. What do you think about on these 4-hour hikes day after day? Or, I mean, even when you're camping out and you're sleeping, what is going through your mind?
Man, I'm glad you asked that because it's not necessarily the climbing I enjoy most, even though that's fun when you summit. It's getting there. I like to just unplug. When you're climbing for 4 or 5 hours a day out there, there's no cell service. Your phone's not there. You know, I'll listen to music or books on tape at time, but you're just out there with your thoughts. I think it's a great way to step back and really focus on, you know, those goals, what you're achieving, what's important to you in life. It really grounds you. And that's one of my favorite things about it, right? And then the summit day, you know, you get up at 1 a.m, it's 10 degrees and you're climbing for, I mean, that day we were hiking for about 14, 15 hours, I think, till the time we were done.
Wow.
So you have a lot of time, but it's cold, it's dark. You can really just see what's in front of you, right? And so I love that part of the mental where you can just really unplug and you just have hours to just think and do that. I love it. I'm an introvert, so I just love getting out there, and it's something that I really enjoy about it.
How do you apply that idea of the unplugging into now you're not on the mountain?
Yeah.
And here you are here. And I guess what advice do you have for people now that you've had this experience of, hey, and I know there's like a 7-day fast on social media for a lot of the youth out there right now in the church. Same idea to a degree, right? Like unplugging good every now and then.
Absolutely. And I wish more people do it. And I tell people that all the time. And my work here is really stressful in that you build tech companies. And so it's very drastic for me, but still even weekly you have to. And that's why whether it's a hike up the mountains with my dog, you know, we always hit the mountains. That's what I do is just get out or, you know, meditate. I do that quite a bit just to unplug and really calm the mind a little bit. And for me, that helps. And I love what it does for me and what I've seen and what other people have mentored me with, but it's really helped. Yeah. You got to do it, guys. Got to unplug. We got to get you guys up on the mountain, man. We got to get you guys up there.
That would be legit.
Yeah, we need to go climb Mount Nebo in Nephi.
Yeah, let's start with Y Mountain, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
We want to talk football with you, and I'm sure that you had football cross your mind at some point as you're
always,
hiking
man.
the mountain.
Always, yeah, it's always on my mind. Yeah.
Much more coming up with Cam and football. A two-part. We did that with Dave Rose the other. I think you're just the second guy we've ever done a two-part with. Here we go.